Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting edition of The Game Changer. I am the man who once met Seto Kaiba, Nate the Effing Great, and I'm being joined here by the woman who once cameoed as a Meowth during a video because it was awesome, it was funny, the one and only Miss VicTori Belle. How's it going this morning?
That was hilarious. I'm like, I don't even remember. Oh, I remember now what he's talking about. I'm good. A little tired, but I'm glad I'm up and talking to someone who's never tired.
You don't know me too well. No, I'm kidding. So, one of the reasons why I brought that up is because of the fact that the one and only, the ever so talented Mr. Eric Stewart is celebrating his birthday today. So shout out to Eric Stewart, man. It was awesome meeting you at OhanaCon, and honestly, it was an unforgettable moment. How many times can you say, hey, I met the guy who voiced Seto Kaiba, Brock, James? Just an absolutely talented guy. So again, happy birthday goes out to Eric Stewart.
Yeah, happy birthday. A fellow Libra. Haha.
It was weird because I got that as a Facebook notification where it's like, Eric Stewart. I'm like, Eric Stewart, is that the... Okay, I need to discuss this on the podcast. Okay, this is how we're opening it up. And it
That's
also,
awesome.
It kind of does make a really perfect transition because like we mentioned on Tuesday, we are going to be talking about conventions itself. Now, what that really means is really debating on the fact of, are conventions too expensive? Are they really losing the focus as what conventions are? What kind of conventions are? There's so much that we're going to be discussing on here, guys, that it is going to take up the whole entire episode. So by all means, enjoy this and enjoy the fact that we're probably going to be ranting and raving about a lot of things we don't like about conventions. So, yep, this is going to be fun. So I guess first things first is talking about the conventions itself. What are the purposes of these conventions? Honestly, there's so many different conventions around the world that it's really hard to just make it a simple definition on what a convention is, because there's comic conventions, there's gaming conventions. Recently, in September, Chicago experienced probably the biggest wrestling convention. There's also a couple other wrestling conventions I might be missing out on. There's all of these crazy and wacky conventions that go around. Basically, it's just to get people who have a common like, and basically get them all together and have them celebrate their, likes and compare their loves and their passions for this. And I think when it comes down to it, you're not going to find anybody better, although you can try, than myself and my co-host who are passionate about a lot of things that we go to. And when we go to conventions, it's always a lot of fun. But I will say this, that you definitely do have a seniority over me when it comes to especially comic conventions due to your background.
Yeah, I thought your definition was, spot on. Because what's interesting, and I know you mentioned a lot of fun conventions, and I say fun, obviously it's a term that maybe some other people think the conventions I've been to is fun too. But there's a convention for everything. I mean, there's a cement convention, there's a snacking convention, there's engineering and manufacturing convention. Everybody's job titles or anything you do, there's basically a convention for that. And I would say that even entertainment and news, they have the Emmys and the Oscars and stuff like that brings all of these people together. So everybody has some sort of celebration of what they do and a way for people to network and connect with each other, and for common people who sell this stuff to meet up and see their competition, see what's new in the field. And I think that definition of convention is kind of not there with comic book conventions. How do you feel about that?
I think I can see a little bit of where you're going, because a lot of people who don't know what comic book conventions are, from my experience, I've seen them more as getting a chance to get fans to come out and just enjoy some times. There's some people that do selling comic books, whether it's classics or new modern age ones. They have vendors who create these products that people might love, they might hate, or they sell products that people might know, like those little Funko Pops. A lot of people really are big on those, and they like to collect those like crazy. Just a lot of collectible memorabilia. They show a lot of, like, of course, memorabilia from like movies, and of course, the main attraction for a lot of them is the star power that they put in. That can include actresses, creators, even smaller independent, even like independent YouTubers. I would even say some people might say that, well, some YouTubers are not exactly that big. Well, I mean, there's still a lot that people look at, and as soon as you see their name on there, there's a lot of people that'll be like, boom, we're going to that. So, to kind of, go back to what you're saying, is that I do understand where you're coming from. I think that there's some conventions that they have the right idea, but there's also some that are just kind of, they're doing it because it brings in the people. They bring people on, or they bring a certain aspect of it on just because it brings out more people to it. And if they have that, hey, it's good, and maybe they'll actually like some of this other stuff that we have going around here. You never know.
I think what makes me makes me intrigued with the differences more is that since I work other conventions for my modeling, I was so baffled by how many people do not have to pay to get into these conventions, because it's really about you coming to see who's there. So it's for IMTS, which is the International Manufacturing convention. So people from all over the world came into Chicago to see what's new in the field and what should we purchase a new machine that obviously these machines are millions and millions of dollars. So it's not like a comic book, but people don't usually have to pay to come in, or if they do, it's $60. And this convention was 6 days and filled all of McCormick Center. And I mean, if you've ever been to C2E2 at McCormick Center only has C2E2 in 2 halls, and they have 4 halls all together. So if you thought C2E2 is big, this manufacturing convention doubled it. And over 200,000 people, I believe, come out for all those days. And they don't have to pay to get in, because people want them to come for free so that they can pay and buy what they're selling there, and just to come out and see it. And I know the booth I was working out at, I'm not going to call them out, but they spent over $1 million to be there. So yeah, it cost them, a lot of money. They're a big, ginormous company. They can afford it, but they also probably sold 20 million's worth of machinery. It's interesting to me to go to these different conventions that aren't considered pop culture and see that people are welcome to come. Please come, because we want our booth people here to sell to you. We want them to sell to you, and they're paying to be here, so we want to make sure that you come regardless of where it is and how much it costs.
Yeah, and staying on that kind of same subject, there are a lot of times where we'll have people who have general admission tickets. Sometimes they won't pay. Sometimes they'll pay a minimum fee. Conventions have definitely done a deal where they're saying yeah, you'll pay this little cheap fee, but you're probably not going to get the best experiences. That's where you need to get the some of the random ones are the bronze membership, the silver, the gold, the platinum, the VIPs, because then you get to the real stuff. And that's, of course, where it starts. This is where you start losing a bit of money, because you want to experience so much more than just be a prospect. A lot of people I've read online have definitely talked about how they've either done a small general admission fee, or they've just gotten in for free, and they end up in a spot where it's a place where it only should fit 10 people, but they're in a room of 100, and everybody else that purchase these huge VIP passes, or they are able to afford these huger memberships are able to get into a room where it's only like half packed, and it's like, why can't you just let those people get there? Because they didn't pay. I don't understand the circumstance, because this is one of the first issues that I have, is that I understand that, you have to try to keep things, in order. You have to make sure that, it doesn't revolve into chaos, but at the same time, if you know that only so many people are purchasing, these huge passes, it's okay to let people in so that they can still experience it, because then they can say, hey, this happened. I mean, it's not going to happen again, more than likely, but it's one of those things where, like, you still want to have them be a part of that experience, be able to be a part of the deal, where they can be a part of a panel that happens at an entertainment deal, or you want to be a part of a panel that reveals the next big model for an upcoming event, something like that. So that's where I think my first issue is that, just because you're in a certain monetary value, like you're either in the low rank class, the high class, the middle class, that seems like how you're treated at these conventions. I really hate that, because it takes the fun out of it. It's like you have to spend money to have fun. Really, though, it's about creating memories. It's not about spending a boink load of dollars to have fun. That just makes it less fun then.
That's so true. And I do think that is a predominantly comic book convention thing to do, or pop culture convention, because I've never seen anyone walking around with a VIP badge at any other convention I've been to. And maybe people will be like, well, there's no celebrities at those conventions. And no, there are. Like Kobe Bryant was just at the snacks convention that I was at, and he's a pretty big celebrity. And guess what? You could just go up and say hi to him. Like, he was there because he reps one of the one of the sports drinks that was there. And you were like, people were in line to take pictures. I do think there was if you got a picture with him, you might have had to pay extra, but we just could have we went up and we could take pictures of him. Like, no one was going to be like, put your cell phone away. You can't have your cell phone out here. Like, oh, really? Don't think you can control where I have my cell phone. Sorry. Maybe put a curtain up if you don't want us to see that person. But, that's what they do at comic book. Like, they're like, hey, put your cell phone down. Like, no. Take it away from me, and then I'll punch you in the face. But no, it's like really, like, you're gonna bringing a celebrity out, and we can't even take a picture of him because we need to make sure you pay $200 to get a personalized picture with him. Like, no, like I totally agree. There's no such thing as VIP packages in all these other conventions, because it is degrading, it is rude, and there are famous people all over at all these other conventions. They're not like celebrities that have been in your comic book movies, obviously, but they're like, the owners and CEOs of, like, at the car conventions of Ford and, like, Chevy, and they host panels, and then they bring out the new car that no one's seen yet. Like, it's still for people of certain passions. If you're a car person, you're there, If you're a snack person, you're at these conventions. I need to see the new thing that Hershey put out. Like, what is the new candy bar? And, like, people get hyped for this stuff. Like, there's different passions and everything. But I've never seen people have to pay extra or have any of these booths hide their newest stuff, because it's not about that. It's about our customers, or our people who are going to this convention. They're coming to see this stuff, so we want to show you. Yeah. So it's just so weird. It's so weird.
And, I will say this, that since we're still on the subject of celebrities, one of the things I think that are positives with conventions is the fact that I don't think that a lot of these conventions, at least not so many that I've been to, have affected the, celebrities' characteristics or their personalities. There's some that are, warped up, and they're, of course, still, it's almost like you're talking to the person that's on TV. They're all star-studded. They're all thinking, like, they're more important. But then there's just other people that literally have so many, human qualities, human traits that a lot of people can relate to them. And obviously, you're only given so much time, but at the same time, it feels like that 1.5 minutes feels like an hour because you're talking to somebody who just absolutely, adores the fact that, you appreciate that you appreciate their work, that you take time to listen, that you actually look at it from all spectrums. I think perfect case and example of that was, I think actually at Ohanacon was the fact that, seeing Eric Stewart was definitely really awesome, but then getting the chance to see the person who voiced Ash Ketchum. It was one of those things that I really thought was awesome, that I did not need a ticket to see her. I think that they knew that I was going to go see Eric Stewart, but I had to stop, and I had to actually go over to the lady and thank her for...
Veronica Taylor.
Thank you. Thank Veronica Taylor that she was she was able to be a big part of my childhood, and she didn't just say like who the hell are you or blah blah blah. No, she genuinely had a big smile on her face and she said thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's always a cool moment. Whenever you can make somebody just absolutely smile, or you can tell them that you appreciate their work, that makes it so much better. And getting to know that Eric Stewart is a fantastic singer. If you haven't listened to his music, go do that. I recommend it. I listened to his soundtrack of Lipsticks and Barbed Wire. It's so much really good. I am just, you learn something new also about them. You learn about the fact that, hey, they're might be a singer. They might do poetry as a living. They might do something else. You get a chance to actually know them, even though, like I said, it's for a couple minutes, but it still feels like, hey, they're making the most out of it. That's one thing that I really love when they have this celebrities. There's some, like I said, that are just kind of like, oh, they're there. Yeah, let's take a picture. Okay, thanks for your support. But then there are some that want to kind of rope you in and just talk to you for a little bit and say, it's like, no, I want to make this a memorable experience for you. Let's talk. Let's do something. Even if there's like nobody there, they'll be like, oh, dude, what was like your favorite episode of this TV show, or what was your favorite moment when I was this character? When they try to rope you in and just ask you about your intel, that makes the experience that much more better.
Yeah, no, that's a good example of like the celebrities doing things. And it's not really on the celebrities. Like, they cost a certain amount of money, and I think that's why. I think that's where cons like really get themselves in a bind, is the fact that they feel like they need to charge more because of the celebrities they're bringing. And I don't get that. I don't think it should be on all of the people who want to go to the convention to pay for your celebrities that you're bringing. Because I don't usually I don't go to see any celebrity. So why would I have to go and pay $200 to go to your convention because you brought 15 celebrities who I don't even want to see? And it's nothing against the celebrities that are there, but I think cons need to, especially comic book conventions, need to start taking ownership. And if they can't afford the celebrities that they're trying to offer, then don't have them there. Or strike a deal with the celebrity and be like, hey, like, we're going to charge this much for your photo ops to pay for you, because that's what it's supposed to do. The celebrities aren't supposed to be paid for the general population. They're supposed to get paid by the amount of photo ops that they sell. And so I think it's total BS when a con tries to tell you, like, well, we got Josh Brolin, like, he's kind of a huge star celebrity, so you probably, even if you just get a glimpse of him, that's, it's worth it for you, so we're going to charge extra. I'm like, what? No, you cannot charge a ridiculous amount if people don't want to go see it,
No, I definitely do agree with that. And that also brings up another point that is kind of an interesting con to a convention. No pun intended. But it's one of those things where I really hate it when there's these points where they actually have like a big name. Like let's use an example. Let's just say that Ace did, in fact, book Josh Brolin. They have everything set up, and everybody's all excited. They got their VIP passes. They have everything, and blah, 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 blah. And then right before the convention happens, they decide to put out that mass email of, oh, sorry, Josh Brolin can't make it. Unfortunately, he's got something going on. we can't refund your stuff, we can't do this. That would be one of those things that I've seen that, I think, a couple of times in news articles where people have done that and they've said, like, oh, we're not doing refunds, but we can find other ways to compensate for it. Like, you could do this. It's like, no, they paid specifically to see this person. And you're basically saying, no, we're not giving you your money back? That's a complete and utter BS. Are you kidding me? That makes absolutely no sense. You have this huge star that everybody loves. You have somebody that people want to see, that they want to talk to, that they want to get autographed or get pictures with, and basically it's your fault for not saying that that he wasn't going to show up. If it was one of those things where, if it was on the day of that they said that, like Josh Brolin called in and said, I'm not doing this, that is more on, Josh. But if it's one of those things where they knew like a week's worth, like if it was like last week he said he couldn't make it, and then a week later they said, oh, he's not coming, that's one of those things where it is very selfish of the convention to do, because they're basically saying, well, okay, he's not coming, but if we cancel it, then people are going to want their money back, they're not going to want to come, so let's just hold off on that, because they're obviously raking in so much dough. So that's one of those things where it's selfish and it's very egomaniacal for a convention to do that, because it just shows you that they don't care about the fans. They only care about the money, and they only care about the spotlight. And it's one of those things where somebody will say, this is one of those things where it's probably, we could have done it better, but hey, it's publicity, and no publicity is bad publicity. And sadly, there are people out there that are like that, and I hate it.
Yeah, and just throwing this out there, we obviously, this is not a real example about Ace,
No.
Yeah, so just throwing that out there, because it sounded like we're not calling Ace out, we don't know. I didn't buy anything for Josh Brolin, so I don't know what they've done for the people who did, because we do know Josh Brolin canceled, but they did let him know, I believe, over a week in advance. So, I mean, from my communications with the con, they definitely let people know when they knew. But yeah, I've been to Wizard World, and I'm okay calling Wizard World out. I think everybody's kind of okay with this now. I'm totally done with them. I don't want to support that convention anymore. But yeah, I've been to a Wizard World where they've made an announcement, like, by the way, if you had 2 o'clock photo session with David Tennant, sorry, he's not showing. Or his flight got canceled, so he can't come. And they're like, and we will comp you with, you'll get something else. And yeah, just like what you said. And I was like, oh my gosh, I would have been so pissed. I'm almost for sure one of the people I went with wanted to meet him too. And I don't remember what she got in exchange, but yeah, they didn't give her money back. And it's just, that's such a Wizard World thing to do. But it's just ridiculous. Just like you said, if that's your celebrity crush, or if that's your celebrity, I need to meet him before I die, or I need to meet her before I die, and that happens to you. I mean, at Ace, there weren't a lot of people from Chicago, guys. There were a lot of people that flew in to see these celebrities and get a chance to meet them, which I thought was kind of cute. I met a lot of people from Texas, Michigan, and North Dakota. They were from all over that decided, I want to go to Chicago to meet my favorite celebrity.
Man.
And yeah, if they canceled, and I'm almost for sure that I haven't heard anything negative about Ace's return rate, or if they do have that in their contract, I would be very, very weary to ever purchase VIP with a con. I would definitely, this is just something I'm just going to throw out there for everybody. If you do intend to spend over $200 on someone's package, definitely read the fine print, guys. Because it's common knowledge to everyone who goes to conventions, celebrities do cancel. And it's mainly because they're in the entertainment business. And if you get hired to do something, you're going to do it. You're going to go and get paid. and do your job versus going to go see a bunch of fans. Like, you just have to. Even though you get paid for the convention, but you got to keep your working quota up, and if that opportunity pops up and arises, you got to go take it. So it's just definitely read the fine print. But are we on topic? What are our topics?
No,
are we on topic here?
No, we're still definitely on topic because we're basically talking about the, how people can be very much led on to believe in that, they're going to get something good, but then it's just like, you're going to basically just screw us at the end. Great. And this also brings up another point, again, is whenever the con does do that, and of course they just don't seem to really care. I mean, I'm going to base this on a real-life example that happened to a friend of mine. So let's just assume that if I was a bigger podcast name, and yes, I am saying that because now it's a bit of a deflating of my ego. I'm not as big as a lot of other podcasts are, but I think I still make a little bit of a dent. So let's just say that I went to the StarCast event, and maybe I get an interview with, and this is going to be something that maybe more wrestling fans will relate to than I would. Let's just say that I was to get an interview with a big name guy. Let's say Pentagon Dark, we'll say. Pentagon, they get everything all stated out, they get everything good. And I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be really good. This is going to be absolutely amazing. I got all my questions down. Maybe even, touch base about maybe some Spanish just in case something might happen. Maybe he doesn't speak as much English as I give him credit for. But, then again, maybe the day of, they say, well, this happened. Like, he's not gonna do it. We found this out about a week ago, and we're gonna have you, interview somebody else. It's like, well, then why did you lead me on to believe that? I mean, lying to the people that you're basically having come to your convention, something that's, you're basically hiring these people to be like, hey, we want you to speak good things about the convention. We want you to say great things about, the people that you work with and blah, blah. And this is another prime example. And you probably had to battle with that so many times because you worked as you worked at tables, you worked with people within conventions who, they tell you, hey, you're going to do this, but then it's like, no, we actually changed our minds. We're going to give this to somebody else, and we're going to give, your spot. We're going to give your spot to somebody else, and we're going to basically put you over here. And it's like, but nobody's going to see us then. And it's like, well, sorry, but that's just how it works. It's like, you're really going to play that card? What did we ever do to you? I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, no. Usually conventions don't switch your location, without telling you. I bet it's happened to people, or obviously some vendors don't like their location because it's not prime, but I think that comes down to, prime spots are going to cost a lot of money. If you get in for free, or if you didn't pay a lot of money, don't expect a prime spot. I think, in general, when we talk about money and cash and all this stuff about conventions, I think the people that should be paying are the vendors, the people who buy the booths. They definitely should pay, and they should be the ones that are like, okay, I'm going to bring people into your convention, but I'm going to make even more than I spend on this convention. Like, I want them to have the confidence to throw down the money that a con needs. Like literally the example I already used with the company that worked at the manufacturing convention. I mean, they spent $1 million. That's a ton of money, guys. No, we don't have that. But they knew they were going to get their money back. Like, that's something that I think is big, that you shouldn't have your GA, your general admission tickets, be anywhere near $100. You should have the vendor booths cost more, especially for like the big vendors, like the ones that are going to bring people and going to make their money. Like those vendors, not the artists. Like, don't make artists spend a ton of money. These people are struggling. But have the like big comic book stores or the big toy companies like come in, pay a decent amount of money to be there, but they're going to have a lot more customer flow if it costs less to get in. So everybody is winning. I don't see why they think that charging a general admission ticket to be anywhere near $100 is going to help anyone in their con. Because if I spent $100 to get in someplace, there's no way I'm going to be spending $100 there. And that takes away from everybody who paid to be there. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I just think it's the stupidest thing.
Yeah. It also kind of ties into the other points that I have here is whenever you see a convention, one thing that I think a lot of people definitely will give a hard time about, especially for people that are just starting a new convention, is the fact that a lot of bigger conventions could look at like a new convention that's coming out or one that's just starting out. And so many of them could probably just think, well, it's a smaller convention. There's no way that they're going to do this. They're not going to be as relevant or as blah, blah, blah as we are. I think that people need to realize that even though conventions are small, they can still have a big impact on the community as well as on the industry. And perfect example of that would definitely be from this past year. And this is a major shout out going out to my friend Josh. He owns a convention known as a LinkCon, which is basically a gaming convention in which he basically has people come in from around who are big on games, such as classic video games, modern day video games. He even deals with like board games and RPGs, stuff like that. And this year it was very tough for them because of the fact of the events that happened. I believe it was at I want to say it was the San Diego Comic-Con, if I'm not mistaken, because I believe that was the convention that featured the shooting where a gamer lost and he got mad and he, came in guns a-blazing, just completely shooting up the place. So one of the things that they had a difficult thing to deal with was the fact that they had to basically still promote the fact that they have a convention going on. But I believe one of the things that I really appreciate and respected Josh for doing was that he definitely hit on the head where he said, it's not the games that create the violence. It's not these video games that are really making it. It's not one of those when people are in these games, they aren't just thinking like, oh, hey, I see this person doing this, so therefore I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to shoot up somebody. I want to do blah, 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 blah. I want to do something from GTA 5. I want to do something from Final Fantasy and blah, that kind of deal. They even had a avid gamer on there who said, I've been playing video games since I was like a young kid of like 5, and I never had these violent tendencies. I never had these kind of deals pop into my head where I wanted to go out and I wanted to, shoot up somebody. So it was one of those things where it is tough to battle with real life situations, and that's probably another thing that always sucks is that when it comes to conventions, especially big conventions, it does bring out the worst in people. I mean, honestly, there are probably people that have been sorely disappointed with their not winning a contest, whether it was like a drawing contest, maybe a costume contest, and it does bring out the competitive nature as well as the worst sides because people sometimes can indeed be sore about the fact that their deal wasn't the better one, and they can't, look at what they're doing. Like, if I was a cosplayer and I was taking on, say, VicTori Belle and maybe even another friend of ours, like Sarah, and basically, if I took it hard, like, my cosplay costume wasn't better than, theirs, and I spent, maybe 2 hours on it, and I basically did all of it online, I pulled out everything, it's like, no, I had the best, but, these two girls, they put like hours and maybe days, weeks on hand just to create these costumes. If I can't, admit the fact that, I can't admit defeat, then really it's going to be hard to be a likable person. And now this is going into a completely different subject matter, but it's still one of those things where conventions can also bring out the best and the worst in us because of the fact that either we get too competitive or we just want to win, or the fact that we can't just admit that, somebody one-upped us. And, I'm not condoning not, discrediting contests or anything like that. I'm just saying that, it is one of those things where you do see people definitely taking it harshly, but it also opens the eyes of so many people that look at you and, they see the amount of effort that you put into this. They see the amount of time that you put in. And if you put something out there that you've worked on for like days and weeks, then people are really going to notice that. And, I can honestly say one of the best examples of that was this past year for C2E2. I remember watching the highlight video, and there was all these people in costumes, and lo and behold, one person that stood out there was my co-host, and I literally was like, yep, that's her. Oh my gosh, she's wearing the Swamp Thing thing. That is amazing. That is absolutely awesome. It's for me, it's kind of one of those things where I'm almost like a proud parent, where it's like, oh, that's my baby girl. Oh my gosh, she's on TV. And
that's awesome.
It's just one of the things where it's awesome.
I definitely see where you're coming from with that, though. Yeah, it sucks when people get too competitive with it, and instead of just enjoying the fact that you did something great. I think competition is good, with the costume contests and stuff. I think it's a positive thing in the most way. People who win them and who compete like that and compete in the very competitive manner where they would get upset I think they're trying to do more with costuming. So getting that award would help them in the long run. So I think that's kind of where that comes in. And if you aren't and you get mad like that, you need to check yourself. Be humble. Calm down.
Definitely.
Because if you get mad that somebody beat you and it's just because you put in a lot of effort, guess what? That's life. Wake up. If you're mad because you're like, this is going to affect my job and my earnings and blah, blah, blah. Or if I do know that some contests at some conventions hire certain people who are all friends and they choose their friends. And that's contests you don't enter.
Yeah.
And you should know. You should know when you see the judges that you're like, oh, they're gonna have all their friends.
Oh, bollocks.
Right. And I'm not gonna waste my time. I'm not gonna wait here for 2 hours. Oh, the cat here is coughing up a fur ball. Sorry if you hear wheezing in the background.
No, it's fine. So,
I've never experienced this.
Oh, man. Oh, man. I'm going to have to make this a first right here. First time ever on this podcast do we ever have a cat coughing up a fur ball. I don't know whether to take that as a compliment or as an insult, but I guess I'll say thank you, cat, with a giant question mark there, because, again, I'm not so sure if, maybe the cat's enjoying it so much that it just got a little too excited and starts, coughing on a fur ball, or maybe it's one of the things where it's like, oh, it's this bad. No, it's like, man. Okay, I might go with the second one just because cats are evil. I'm sorry. I've seen way too many commercials that I can definitely back my words up on that. I'm sorry, guys. But if you're a cat lover, I got nothing against you. It's just your feline friends are going to be the most evil things that you will ever possess. I'm not going to lie. Trust me. My aunt had 2 Siamese cats, and one was known DC, a.k.a. Devil Cat. So you can kind of see where I'm getting this mind thought.
If you'd like me to also share what I walked in on, she presented me with a gift today.
Oh God!
She caught a mouse, and she left it at the top of the stairs, a dead carcass of a mouse.
Oh man!
And then, but it's her prize. She's like, "Look what I did!" And it was super cute. I was like, "This is so cute." That this dead carcass is here, and the cat just left it at the top of the stairs. I hope she didn't eat any other mouse. Maybe that's why she's coughing like that.
Maybe.
But it sounds like a hairball. I'm pretty sure it's a hairball.
But I will say it does kind of add an interesting perspective on the next point that I have, and that is the fact that conventions also allow new things, and they also present us with a lot of great opportunities. Honestly, I've been to a lot of conventions, both wrestling as well as comic related, and honestly, I can say this, I could not think of a better place to meet people and spend time with people that you either know or spend time with people that you just are maybe thinking maybe there's somebody that has the same passion as me. Honestly, going through some of the people that I've met through conventions, I mean, through some of the wrestling conventions, I met some great friends, including, oh man, I'm trying to remember who exactly I met through wrestling conventions. A couple of podcasters I've actually met, Rant with Ants, shout out to them. I've actually heard about them through a different podcast, and they said, like, okay, well, if you're going to StarCast, go to Podcast Row, and you're going to meet up with these guys, Rant with Ants. And honestly, they are the coolest guys that I have ever met, so this is going to be a shameless plug. Go check out their podcast. They are very wrestling-based. They are on Wrestle Addict Radio. It is absolutely amazing. Definitely go check them out. They are funny, they're entertaining, they bring up some really good points, they're very passionate about wrestling, and if you think that I'm passionate, you definitely need to hear these guys because they are absolutely crazy. But also, being to a couple of the comic book conventions, I never thought that I would meet so many great people there. We mentioned earlier, Sarah, another great cosplayer, definitely go check out her stuff. Project Amazon, definitely shout out to you, Sarah, hope you're feeling better. Mr. Joe, our good friend, Mr. Photo Joe, honestly, probably one of the best photographers that I've seen. So go check out his stuff at Photo Joe at the Photo Hut. It's really awesome, and I'm pretty sure he's still taking bookings. So definitely go check out his stuff. And if you like what you see, book him. He's awesome. Definitely, Evan is another one that I met. He basically came up to us during Ohanacan, and he had a championship belt. I'm like, is that a wrestling championship belt? He said, no, it's for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship. Like, okay, that is really cool. That is absolutely amazing. Shout out to Evan for that. But honestly, guys, when it comes to conventions, this is going to sound cheesy, but one thing that always is going to be a constant is that this is one of the things that brought me to my co-host. For so many times I've mentioned this, met at a convention. Actually, I talked to her on Facebook, and then we met at a convention. We had a little bit of a fun time. Got to experience a little bit of her cosplaying deals, which was completely new to me. And then as soon as I saw more and more, I'm like, okay, so you're making this into like a oh, wow, you are really talented at this. So if anything, I was probably one of the few people that was always saying to her, dude, you look amazing in everything. And even if there's somewhere she's like, I don't know, I could do better with this. I'm like, no, it's really good. It looks really great. Sometimes you just need that positive reinforcement to basically know that, hey, you're doing a great job. Now, I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass. I'm really not. I'm just saying that for the longest time, and like I said, you're the one that really introduced me to cosplaying. So anytime I see people cosplaying, it's like, oh, wow, this is awesome. But I'm also going to have to play favorites and say that my co-host has some of the best cosplays around. So much, you guys. I'm still working on trying to get a top VicTori Belle cosplays that are either my favorites or definitely should go check out. So I'll actually have that episode posted up tomorrow. So go tune into that. But that's a little shameless plug for a little later. So, yeah, a lot of positive things do come from conventions. You get the chance to meet up with cool vendors. You get a chance to, talk to them about really great stuff. You get to see a lot of the memorabilia that's there. Even some replica stuff. I remember going to the first comic book convention, and I was thinking, you know what, I'm not paying for anything. I'm not paying for anything. Oh my god, these guys have a replica lightsaber. Okay, I'm spending a little bit of my money right now. And literally, I'm like, I wasn't planning on buying anything, but I'm getting this. And then about 2 steps later, it's like, oh, they got stamps. And they got Marvel Hero stamps. Oh my gosh, they got all the Spider-Man here. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. Peter Porker. Oh my god, this is okay. I'm done. I'm beyond speechless at this kind of deal. It's like everywhere you go, there's something really fun and amazing for everyone. And those are the conventions I really do appreciate. The ones that really do show that they care about the people, that they care about, the fans that do come. And still, one of the best ones that went to was indeed StarCast, where I got the chance to not only meet up with some really cool wrestlers, got to meet up with some really cool fans, got to share some great stories, and even interact with some people that I thought, there's no way I'm meeting up with this person. so many other people that, got the chance to talk to. It's just absolutely amazing. Even some of the jokes that you can make about, whether it's like comic books or about wrestling, people usually get it. It's always cool to be in that kind of environment where you're used to an environment where it's like, oh, this happened. Oh my gosh, that was always awesome. Chelsea Green's Lucha Underground, and people are around me like, whatever, I don't care. But then I could go to a convention and people will just be like, yes, it was so freaking awesome. Oh my gosh, she is awesome. Why is her name Reclusa? It doesn't matter. She's in Lucha Underground, and that's absolutely amazing. Sorry, I might be going on a little bit of a tirade, of a little bit of a rant, but it's one of those things where I'm trying to shed a little bit of positivity in the dark cloud of negativity we've been throwing at these cons.
No, yeah, there's definitely a lot of positives about conventions that everybody knows, and that's why people go. That's why they go to conventions, is to meet people that are like-minded and have friends. Stuff like that, and I think that's great. I think that's amazing, and that's why I would want people to go. I think our main point, though, is not that if you should or shouldn't go because, you want to meet people. I think our points were more like, are they trying to take advantage of the people who, like to go and just hang out with their friends? They just want to go and hang out and have a good time and meet new people and meet like-minded people. But if the con is going to cost you an arm and a leg to meet your friends, it's kind of like, man, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah. No, I get that. I totally get that. There are some times where it's just like, yeah, I really want to go to this convention, but at the same time, that's almost 3 days worth of a meal. Why would I do this? So, but you still get a chance to meet people. I mean, you don't even have to meet them inside the convention. You can meet them outside. Maybe there's a Burger King that's 2 blocks away, and you just meet somebody who's dressed up like that. You're like, oh man, that's so cool, and you just get into talking about them. And one thing that they'll definitely remember was oh, the convention was great, but I got the chance to meet this really cool fan who complimented me on my outfit, complimented me on makeup, and blah blah blah. They really made that memory. So having great memories like that is always amazing. And honestly, I think that when it comes to memories, you definitely probably have a lot more than I could probably dare to share, especially with your cosplays. Because I've seen so many times where you've had pictures with kids and with adults who have more than likely complimented you up the wazoo, and up to the point where you're just like, okay, I know I really look awesome. Can we get something else other than look awesome? You look great. Then there's that one person who's like, you look astonishing. It's like, yes, I love my job.
But no, it's really fun, and I think that's why, just as people who now go at a different level, I don't usually have to pay general admission or anything. So I'm at cons that I go to either represent certain companies, or I represent myself, or something that makes me not have to pay the GA admission, and that's kind of why I see myself going to so many cons, because just at this last convention I was at, I just had that epiphany of being like, I don't think I could afford this if I wasn't working it. I don't think there's any way I could have afforded this. And so it just brought up the point of me wanting to talk about it, because I don't think it's necessarily fair or good to have people have to contemplate if they're going to feed themselves this week, or if they're going to go to a Comic-Con. And obviously that's values and issues that are a little deeper. If you choose Comic-Con over food, you're kind of an idiot. But I can see where people would think this is their only opportunity to get to see Chris Evans. Last time to see Chris Evans, do his thing and talk about Captain America. So if that means you go hungry for a night and you're like, I gotta meet him, then I bet people did that. And it's just, to me, that doesn't seem right or fair or anything. So I would just wanted to talk about it and let people know that, hey, we're going to try to talk about this and bring up the topic so that maybe cons in the future will think about it and think like, hey, maybe I should try and make this more affordable for everybody.
I couldn't agree more. And honestly, speaking of cost, that goes into this one. So we're going to do a little fun game, you guys, that maybe it'll catch on, maybe it won't. But we're going to do this little thing. We're going to either say yep or nope. So basically, I have 3 different conventions that actually have, ticket sales. And we're basically going to compare each of these tickets by, what they offer or by what their costs are. And we're either going to give it a giant thumbs up for yep or a big thumbs down for no. Obviously, we can't show you guys if we're doing thumbs up or thumbs down. We'll let you know which one it is. But yeah, so we're going to start off with a new convention that actually came out, I think, in the last few years. It is the Salt Lake Comic Convention. They actually have, oh boy, they have a lot of different ticket options. They have a VIP, they have a gold, they have I think it's a multi-platinum if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to say this right now. I'm looking at this ticket deal, and it's hard for me to really get a full perspective on the page because what they have here is a video of their FanX 18 highlights, and it's one of those things where it's like I can't get out of it, so I can't really get a full visual on it. I can see enough of it, but it's just one of those things where it's like, guys, I kind of want to see what your ticket prices are. Why do you have this here in front of me, and why are you blocking it? Are you trying to hide something? What are you doing? So I'm going to give you guys as best as I can. So like for VIP, pre-event price would be $250. Early supporter price is $213. Loyalty launch price is $163. So I'm guessing that's mainly just like maybe it's like a loyalty deal or something like that. I don't know. With a lot of these other ones, I'm kind of like, interesting. I guess for like VIPs, you get all multi-pass benefits plus a VIP badge, an exclusive deal, some exclusive merch, like one photo op voucher, which to me, I look at that and I think to myself, why would I spend that much money when I could literally spend like maybe $20-$25 at a wrestling one where I could get a nice conversation with a wrestler as well as a picture. That seems kind of ridiculous. And I mean, even with these additional benefits, like I said, some merch, entrances to a palace, Salt Palace. What? Okay. Unlimited access to VIP Express autograph lines. So basically, I guess they're saying, well, you can cut in front of everybody. Well, that's nice. So literally, you have somebody who probably waited for like an hour. You're going to cut right in front of them, and that's the last autograph they're going to do. That literally feels like you would do that. I would loathe the person that would do that. But a lot of the like other passes, I think this is the gold pass. This is like 95, 81, 62 for the random deals. Multi-pass 55, 51, 39. Regular passes, I think they look to be about. Looks like the cheapest one here is probably $15 or $10 if you're a loyalty launch provider. I don't know. They have like they have like an all Friday, Saturday pass that range from like 35 to 45, and then they also have children passes, which I think it says that children under 8 are free. So I mean, there's that kind of a money saver. That's nice, but yeah, there's just a lot going into this. So there's a lot of different prices for Salt Lake Comic Convention. Again, I wish that they would have this video out of here so I could actually look at all the benefits and look at the prices, but damn it, they just had to promote this up on YouTube. So I'm guessing this already happened. I'm guessing that's what they're kind of doing. So they have the deal that we were talking about where you pay a certain amount, you get certain benefits. So, honestly, I'm going to give it a thumbs down. I'm going to say nope. Just because that just seems a little too much. Even with some of the benefits that they've included on there, I just don't see myself spending that kind of money for, if it's just for like one photo op. That just does not seem like the kind of convention that I want to go to. So I'm going to give it a nope.
So we weren't able to find like an exact price.
No, those are the prices that I'm making out, despite the video basically blocking it.
But I mean, I don't think I could. Yeah, I don't think I could. That's one of the better conventions I've heard too. So yeah, no.
Well, Salt Lake Convention, you're kind of not in our realm here. All right, so the next one I got here is the San Diego Comic-Con, which they've basically made it pretty simple here. So they have 3 sets of tickets. They have, badges, I should say. They have an adult, a junior, and a senior. And they have it broken down in, looks to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nights, it looks like. They have a preview night. They have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. So that's kind of interesting. For adults, preview night would be 48. Thursday and Friday would be 60. Oh, no, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday would be 66. Sunday would be 45. Juniors would be 24, 33, and 22. And then seniors, as well as U.S. military, are at 24, 33, and 22. So juniors, seniors, and people of the U.S. military are getting basically in for the same price. Adults are going to have to pay basically double of what they're paying, of what the kids and the senior citizens as well as U.S. military have. As far as the benefits, I'm guessing this is just for like general admission, and they probably have all the other vendor stuff and photo ops and stuff like that. That's probably all in the convention, because I'm not seeing anything out here that would be, that would say, to see this person is this much money, to see this person is this much money, to see, for vendors it's blah, 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 blah. Or even like they'll say, hey, if you want to get some food, you could pay like $10 for a hot dog, or $5 for a soda, or blah, blah, blah. I'm of course exaggerating about this, but that's just what I'm assuming is probably what this is for. I am looking at this, I mean, honestly, if that's the cost of admission, and if I were to just go for one day, I think it would still be a good experience. 2 days maybe be okay. I don't think I could go for all of those days. I'll give it a thumbs up. I'll say up to San Diego Comic-Con. I think that there's enough there that would keep my interest peaked. Because I think, if I recall correctly, we actually based a podcast on the Comic-Con and a lot of the stuff that came out of it. So there's enough to keep me kind of interested. So I'll give this one a thumbs up.
Yeah, I agree. I think that as much as this one would possibly cost, I know that it's one of those conventions that has an open window, all right, we're about to sell badges now, and in an hour they're closed because they're sold out. So it is one of those conventions that could literally kind of rip you in half with cost, because people probably would pay it, and I don't think they do. It doesn't seem like they do. So I would definitely want to go to San Diego Comic-Con one time and check it out. I think it would be awesome. Honestly, it would be really cool, and the fact that I do think they try to bring out as much entertainment as possible, and the whole town kind of gets into it. I think that's great.
Definitely. And honestly, guys, we are only just considering stuff that goes into the convention. So tickets, vending, special autographs, food, that kind of stuff. We're not including flights and hotels and stuff like that. We're just talking about if we were, say, in that area, what it would cost just to be in that convention. So just bear that in mind. All right, so the final one here is the New York Comic-Con, which goes from, it looks like it's a Tuesday to Sunday deal, so that's a pretty long convention. New York, I mean, bravo for that. Okay, so for this one, it looks like it varies on the days. They have Thursday badges at $50. Friday would be $50 to $50. Saturday would be $55. Sunday would be $52.50, and then Sunday kids would be $12.50. So admission for kids on Sunday are $12.50. I'm looking here, and well, they're not. I think it's kind of the same thing as San Diego Comic-Con, where everybody gets in. You basically go in and explore. So for this one, see, the question really isn't more of price, because I think that it's a little bit cheaper in some instances than the San Diego one. I think for me, it's more about what they would provide. I'm not exactly sure on what they have provided in the past. I'm actually going to just pull up something that maybe they have like lists of what they've done in the past, who they've had.
I think for New York,
yeah,
I'm almost for sure that they don't even sell like full-time tickets anymore. They sell by the day, because there are so many people that want to go that they do not sell. Like, you can't go from like the whole weekend. You'd have to buy every single day, because they want more people to be able to go. It sounds a little selfish, like, oh my gosh, so you have to buy every day. That, like, it'll amount to over 200 easily if you wanted to go every day. But I think the point of the convention then is to actually be more like, don't go every day. Allow other people to go.
Yeah, I get that.
Which, I would also recommend. Do not go every day. If you're going to spend that much money, like, geez, that sounds ridiculous to me. But I've heard only amazing things about New York Comic Con, and about the experience and just what they provide, and the fact that it's a Reed Pop show, and Reed Pop does C2E2 as well, and it's just, it's an experience. And I would definitely, even without like the pricing and what they offer, I would probably say yes, just because it's New York Comic Con. But yeah, I think the whole point of this was so that they can get more people experiencing New York Comic Con, and less people that are just, the 3-day badges that walk around like the first 2 days of a con being like, I'm not buying, this isn't my buying day, and then the last day they try to buy, It's more like, we're going to get people in here that want to buy and experience it all in one day the whole time.
Fair enough. Well, I think that, you kind of hit the nail on the head, is that, so many people come in and they see this convention, that, it does give people less of a chance to see something, especially if they want to see a certain day. So I think unless they, maybe expanded the appearances or stuff like that, I think I'm going to play devil's advocate on this one. I'm going to give this one a no, just because the fact that, if it's limited, it seems like you really have to be on the top of your game to do that in order to get these tickets. You'd literally have to wait. It's almost like, for most people who want to go see WrestleMania, they have to be up at like a certain time just to get the tickets that they want. And I don't know, there's not too much, I'm trying to think of the right word for that, appeal to that, to where you're basically have to stay up just to make sure that you get your tickets. So that's the only reason why I would give it a thumbs down on that. And like I said, it's a bigger city, so that's kind of one of those things that really does kind of suck. I'm not trying to say, New York Comic Con is bad. No. I'm just saying that the appeal just does not seem right. Unless, there's like a big name or something like that, it probably just doesn't appeal to me too much. So I'm playing devil's advocate, and I'm saying thumbs down for that. So we are just about wrapped up with this edition of the Game Changer, talking about conventions, because why not? And of course, we talked more about, nationwide. We could go into another episode talking about worldwide, which might be pretty interesting, but we'll save that for another episode, you guys. So, closing remarks and thoughts when it comes to conventions. For me, like I said before, go to a convention because you're there to make memories. Obviously, a lot of these memories are going to cost a little more than others, but at the same time, the most precious memories at conventions are the people that you meet, the friends that you make, and the ever so great history that you remember from the convention. Even if it's just for one day, just make it count.
Yeah, I think that for me, I think it's really cool to go to conventions and experience it. I think that everyone should at least try. Like, if you have a passion for anything, I mean, oh, the kitty cat fell down. I thought they don't do that. But yeah, no, if you have a passion for anything, so yeah, if your passion is pets or kitty cats or reptiles, there's conventions for that. So I think you should experience your passion in a convention form, because it'll throw you for a loop. Like, you'll be like, holy cow, people care this much that they have a full live, like, giant Hulk in the middle of their convention. Like, it's really cool. I would just be nervous about what you're paying for, and just know, like, I would, less is more in my case. I think if you pay for just general admission and you go one day and you're like, this was great, I think that's good. And if you want to be like, okay, next time though, I really do want to do the VIP, that looked really cool, then you get the chance to be like, okay, I'm going to try it, I'll pay the extra money. I'd be nervous about what convention it was, but if you're passionate enough, I wouldn't think you would care as much about money, and you'd care more about the whole idea of experiencing your passion in its biggest, most fabulous form.
Couldn't have said it better. So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out VicTori Belle's Facebook fan page with all of her awesome cosplays, as well as the other stuff that she's been doing with her life. Be sure to give us a like on our Facebook fan page, The Game Changer. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at RealLifeInGame. And honestly, you guys, proudly supporting so many great things, whether it is indeed cosplaying, whether it is indeed modeling, whether it's in wrestling. So many great things are going to be coming up. I mean, we're just getting close to the end of the year. We're getting close to Halloween. Let's just start with that. Halloween is coming. A lot of nice, ghouly, creepy stuff are probably going to be coming out. And you can probably expect us to talk a lot about Halloween as it dawns on us. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Game Changer for VicTori Belle. I've been Nate the Effing Great. We will talk to you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.